You walk into a cafe. You're tired. You just want coffee. You look at the menu. 3 sizes. Small, $3. Medium, $6.50. Large, $7. The small feels inadequate, like you're cheating yourself. The medium? That price makes no sense. Why would anyone pay $6.50 when large is only 50 cents more? So you order the large, obviously. As you walk away with your coffee, you feel pretty good about it. You got the better deal. Here's what actually happened. That medium option, the one that felt stupid, it was never meant to be bought. It exists for one reason only, to make the large look like a bargain. And it worked. You didn't choose what you wanted. You chose what looked best compared to something else. Once you see how this works, you'll notice it everywhere, and you won't be able to unsee it. Let's back up. It's Tuesday afternoon. You skipped lunch because of back-to-back meetings. Now it's 3 p.m. and your brain is running on fumes. You're not making a major financial decision here. You're just getting coffee. This barely registers as a choice. That's exactly when this works best. Because here's the thing about your brain when you're tired, hungry, or distracted. It looks for shortcuts. You don't want to think hard about coffee sizes. You want to make a quick decision and move on with your day. So, your brain does something efficient. It compares. And whoever designed that menu knows this. Think about all the small decisions you make in a day. Which size fries? Which streaming plan? Which phone storage option? Which seat on a flight? Most of them happen when you're not fully paying attention, when you're in line, distracted, just trying to get through the transaction. These aren't the moments when you sit down with a spreadsheet and calculate the optimal choice. These are the moments when your brain is looking for the path of least resistance. And that's exactly where the decoy effect lives. Let's run through what just happened in your head step by step. Imagine the menu only had 2 options. Small, $3. Large, $7. What would you pick? It depends, right? If you're really thirsty, maybe large. If you just need a quick caffeine hit, probably small. You'd actually think about what you want. The choice is clean, simple. You're weighing your actual needs against the price. Now watch what happens when we add that third option back. Small, $3. Medium, $6.50. Large, $7. Something shifts in your head. Suddenly, the small feels cheap, like the option for people who don't know what they're doing. The medium feels ridiculous. Who designed this pricing? It's almost the same as large. And the large now feels smart. Obvious even. Notice what just happened. The large didn't change. The price is still $7, but it feels completely different now. That's because your brain isn't asking, what do I want? It's asking, what's the better deal compared to the other options? And that middle option, the one nobody buys, just made the decision for you. The small is no longer the sensible choice. It's now the small one. The large is no longer the expensive one. It's now the smart one. Same options, same prices, completely different feeling. This is called the decoy effect. But let's be clear about what that name actually means. The medium isn't really an option. It's a tool. Its job is to make another option, the one they actually want you to buy, look better by comparison. Think about it. If the cafe wanted to sell medium coffees, they'd price it at $4.50. That would make sense. People would buy it. But they don't want to sell mediums. They want to sell larges. And the way they do that is by creating a medium that makes the large look like the obvious choice. You didn't get tricked into buying something you don't want. You probably do want a large coffee. What happened is subtler. You got guided to a decision you thought you made freely. The path to that choice was designed. And here's what makes this so effective. You have a reason for your choice. The large is a better value. You get more for your money. It makes logical sense. All of that is true. But the question is, would you have come to that conclusion without the medium sitting there making the large look good? So why does this work? Your brain doesn't evaluate value in isolation. It can't. If I ask you, is $7 a good price for a large coffee? You don't actually know. It depends. Compared to what? Compared to making coffee at home? Compared to other cafes? Compared to not having coffee at all? It's an impossible question to answer in the abstract. So your brain does something simpler. It compares the options in front of you. And when one option is clearly worse than another in every way, like a medium that costs almost as much as a large, your brain sees that relationship immediately. This is called asymmetric dominance. The large dominates the medium. It's better in every way that matters. More coffee for barely any extra money. Your brain loves this kind of comparison. It feels certain, clear, logical. And once you see that relationship, the small starts to look different too. Now it's not just small versus large. It's the cheap option versus the smart option. The decoy doesn't just make one choice look better. It restructures how you see all the choices. Here's the key insight. Your brain doesn't ask, what's the best option? It asks, what's better than the other thing? And whoever controls what that other thing is can control what you choose. This isn't a glitch in your thinking. It's a feature. Comparing is easier than calculating. It takes less energy. In evolutionary terms, it kept us alive. You don't need to calculate the exact nutritional value of two foods if one is clearly larger and fresher than the other. In most situations, this works perfectly fine. But it also means that adding one carefully designed option can change everything about how you see the others. The decoy creates a reference point, and reference points are incredibly powerful in shaping decisions. When you see that the medium costs $6.50 and the large costs $7, your brain locks on to that 50-cent difference. That becomes the frame. You're no longer comparing $7 to your budget or your actual thirst level. You're comparing $7 to $6.50. And in that comparison, $7 wins every time. Once you know what to look for, you'll see this pattern everywhere. Subscriptions. Look at any software pricing page. Basic, $10 per month. Professional, $50 per month. Enterprise, $55 per month. The Enterprise plan has everything Professional has, plus features most people don't need, for $5 more. Nobody buys Enterprise. But suddenly, Professional looks premium instead of expensive. The Basic plan? That's now the limited version. Before, it might have felt like the sensible choice. What's interesting here is the company probably did research. They know exactly how many people pick each tier. They've optimized these prices over thousands of transactions. And they've learned that adding that Enterprise tier, even though almost nobody buys it, increases Professional subscriptions by a significant margin. Real estate. A realtor shows you 3 apartments. Apartment A, nice neighborhood, $300,000. Apartment B, same neighborhood, smaller, needs work, $290,000. Apartment C, same neighborhood, similar to A, $310,000. Apartment B makes A look perfect. Same area, better condition, barely more expensive. But here's what's interesting. Apartment B might be real. The realtor isn't hiding anything about it. They're just controlling the order you see things and which reference point is in your head when you evaluate the place they actually want to sell you. If they showed you apartment A first alone, you might think, nice, but is $300,000 too much? But after seeing B, that question doesn't come up. Instead, you think A is clearly better than B for just $10,000 more. The comparison answers a different question than the one you should be asking. Movie theater popcorn. Small, $6. Medium, $7. Large, $8. You came in thinking you'd get a small. You don't even like popcorn that much. But look at that pricing. Medium is only $1 more. Large is only $1 more than that. You walk out with a large popcorn you didn't plan to buy. The theater doesn't make money on ticket sales. They make money on concessions. And that pricing structure is designed to make you upgrade twice. First, from small to medium, it's only $1 more. Then from medium to large. Why stop now? Another $1 gets me even more. By the time you sit down, you spent $8 on popcorn. You plan to spend $6, or maybe nothing at all. Gym memberships. Monthly, $50. Annual, $480. Saves $120. Platinum annual, $500. Includes personal training session. The Platinum option makes annual look like a no-brainer, just $20 more for an added service. But here's what they know. Most people don't use gyms consistently. Monthly members quit after a few months. Annual members pay up front and then stop going but can't get a refund. The decoy isn't there to sell Platinum memberships. It's there to lock you into annual. Phone storage options. 64 gigabytes, $699. 128 gigabytes, $749. 256 gigabytes, $799. Most people don't need 256 gigabytes, but the pricing makes 128 feel insufficient. For just $50 more, I could have double the storage. And once you're thinking that way, why not go to 256? It's the same increment. You end up spending $100 more than you planned on storage you'll probably never fill. Dating apps. Free, limited swipes, ads. Premium, $15 per month, unlimited swipes. Premium Plus, $20 per month, unlimited swipes plus 5 super likes per week. Premium Plus makes Premium look reasonable. Just $15 for unlimited swipes feels like getting most of the value without the full cost. The free version is frustrating by design. The Premium Plus version is expensive by design. Premium is the target. Everything else is positioning. Here's the uncomfortable part. Knowing about the decoy effect doesn't make you immune to it, because it doesn't work by tricking you. It works by giving your brain real information to process. The medium coffee really does cost $6.50. That's not fake. And the large really is only 50 cents more. That comparison is accurate. Your brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, finding the better value among the available options. The manipulation isn't in the logic. It's in deciding which options to put in front of you in the first place. And here's what makes it especially effective. Smart people rationalize their choices afterward. You didn't walk away thinking, I got manipulated. You walked away thinking, I made a smart decision. Your brain found reasons. The large has more coffee. You'll be satisfied longer. It's more cost-effective per ounce. All of that might be true, but it's backwards. You chose the large first, based on how it compared to the medium, and then your brain generated the justification afterward. This is why awareness alone doesn't protect you. You can know exactly how this works and still feel that pull toward the obviously better option, because in the moment it is obviously better. The context makes it so. There's actually research on this. When economists test the decoy effect on other economists, people who literally study decision-making for a living, it still works. They know they're being influenced, they can explain the mechanism, and they still choose the option the decoy was designed to highlight. Because the comparison is real, the value difference is real. Your brain isn't being fooled, it's being guided. So, what do? The defense isn't complicated, but it requires you to pause. First, remove the decoy mentally. When you see 3 options and one feels weirdly bad, ask yourself, what would I choose if that option didn't exist? With just small and large coffee, would you still pick large? Maybe, maybe not. The point is to make the decision without the artificial comparison. Second, ask what you actually want. Not what's the better deal, not what makes sense relative to something else. What do you want? Do you want a large coffee, or do you want a small coffee and the large just looked smart by comparison? This is harder than it sounds, because by the time you're asking this question, your brain has already done the comparison. The frame is set. But it's worth asking anyway. Third, beware of obviously bad options. When something is priced strangely, positioned strangely, or feels like it's there just to make another option look good, it probably is. That doesn't mean the other option is bad. It might be exactly what you need. but it does mean someone designed this choice environment, and they designed it with an outcome in mind. Fourth, check your reasoning. If you find yourself thinking, for just X more, I get Y, stop. That's the decoy talking. You're not comparing the option to your needs, you're comparing it to another option. Ask instead, is this what I need regardless of what else is available? The goal isn't paranoia, it's awareness. You're not trying to outsmart every menu. You're trying to notice when a choice has been architected around you. Sometimes the decoy option actually reveals that the thing you were going to buy is genuinely a good value. The comparison might be designed, but the value might be real. The point is to make that decision consciously, not automatically. Here's the thing about the decoy effect. It works because choice feels like freedom. When you're standing in that cafe looking at those three options, you feel like you're in control. You're evaluating, comparing, deciding. And you are. But someone else built the room you're deciding in. They chose what goes on the menu. They set the prices. They decided which options sit next to each other. You get to choose, but they get to choose what you're choosing between. And that's the invisible part. The most powerful choices aren't the ones you make. They're the ones designed around you. Now you see them. The next time you're looking at three options and one feels obviously wrong, pause. Ask yourself, what is this option here to do? Because if it's not there to be chosen, it's there to make you choose something else. And once you see that, you can't unsee it.